What would aliens actually look like? Not the big-eyed gray figures from Hollywood. Not the tentacled monsters from sci-fi. If life exists beyond Earth, and modern science suggests it very likely does, it will obey the same laws of physics and chemistry that shape every organism here. And that single fact changes everything. Let's interrupt the fantasy right now. Aliens will not be magic. They will be biology. As of 2026, astronomers have confirmed over 5,500 exoplanets orbiting other stars. Billions more are estimated to exist in our galaxy alone. The Kepler Space Telescope revealed that planets are more common than stars. Statistically, that means Earth is not rare in terms of having a planet. The real question is, how common is life? Here's where things get controversial. Many people assume alien life would look wildly different from anything on Earth. But evolutionary biology suggests something surprising. Certain shapes and solutions may be universal. On Earth, life emerged quickly, within about 300 million years after the planet cooled enough for liquid water. That speed suggests that when conditions are right, life might not be a miracle. It might be chemistry doing what chemistry naturally does. All life we know is carbon-based. Why carbon? Because carbon forms stable, complex molecules. Silicon is often suggested as an alternative, but silicon forms less flexible bonds and is far less chemically versatile in liquid water environments. Based on what we know from chemistry, carbon remains the strongest candidate for life elsewhere. So what would aliens look like? First, they would likely be shaped by their environment's gravity. On a high-gravity planet, organisms would probably be shorter and sturdier, with thicker limbs and compact bodies to resist crushing forces. On a low-gravity world, life could grow taller or develop lighter, elongated forms. Gravity isn't a creative choice, it's a structural constraint. Second, symmetry may be common. On Earth, bilateral symmetry, two sides that mirror each other, dominates among mobile organisms. Why? Because it allows efficient forward movement and centralized sensory organs. If alien life evolves mobility, physics suggests bilateral symmetry is an efficient design. Now here's a pattern interrupt. Eyes may be extremely common in the universe. Light is one of the most abundant sources of energy. On Earth, eyes evolved independently multiple times in different lineages: octopuses, vertebrates, insects. That's called convergent evolution. When different organisms evolve similar solutions to similar problems, it suggests those solutions are optimal. Detecting light is so advantageous that evolution keeps inventing it. So if an alien planet has light from a star, there's a strong possibility that some organisms there evolved light-detecting organs. They may not look like human eyes, but vision, or something very close, could be widespread. But here's where it gets more nuanced. Not all life needs sunlight. On Earth, entire ecosystems thrive around deep-sea hydrothermal vents with zero sunlight. These organisms rely on chemosynthesis, using chemical energy instead of light. If alien life exists beneath an icy crust, like we suspect might be possible in subsurface oceans on Europa or Enceladus, it could resemble microbial or simple multicellular life adapted to darkness, high pressure, and cold temperatures. Let's pause and confront another misconception. Intelligent aliens may be rare. Complex multicellular life took billions of years to evolve on Earth. Intelligent, tool-using species appeared only once, as far as we know. That suggests intelligence is not an inevitable outcome of evolution. It's one possible branch among millions. If we do encounter alien life, statistically, it's more likely to be microbial. And that's not disappointing, it's revolutionary. NASA's Perseverance rover on Mars is currently searching for ancient biosignatures in Martian rock samples. The James Webb Space Telescope has begun analyzing exoplanet atmospheres for potential biosignature gases like oxygen, methane, and carbon dioxide in chemical imbalance. In 2023 and 2024, observations of exoplanet K2-18b detected methane and carbon dioxide in its atmosphere, with tentative signals that sparked debate. Follow-up studies have not confirmed definitive biological activity, but the search continues. Notice something important. Scientists are not looking for spaceships. They're looking for chemistry. Life alters atmospheres. On Earth, oxygen exists in large amounts because of photosynthesis. Without life, oxygen would quickly react away. So when astronomers detect unusual atmospheric chemistry, gases that shouldn't coexist naturally, that's a potential sign of biology. Now let's imagine a rocky planet orbiting within its star's habitable zone, where liquid water can exist. If it has an atmosphere, oceans, and stable temperatures, evolution might follow familiar pathways. You could see photosynthetic organisms if light reaches the surface. But here's a twist. They might not be green. Earth's plants are green because chlorophyll absorbs red and blue wavelengths, reflecting green. On a planet orbiting a red dwarf star, which emits more infrared light, photosynthetic organisms might appear darker, possibly even black, to absorb more available energy. Studies modeling exoplanet photosynthesis suggest plant colors could vary significantly depending on the star's spectrum. That means alien landscapes might not be forests of green, but fields of deep red, purple, or nearly black vegetation. Now let's address limbs. Movement in fluid environments, like water, often favors streamlined bodies. In air, wings or lift-generating structures could evolve if gravity and atmospheric density allow it. The physics of flight depends on air density and gravity. On a planet with thick atmosphere and low gravity, flight might be easier and more common. Skeletons, or structural support systems, would likely evolve in larger organisms. Whether internal like ours or external like insects, support is necessary once size increases. That's not imagination. That's biomechanics. And here's the biggest reality check. Aliens would not be designed for us. They would not necessarily have faces. They wouldn't evolve to look relatable. Evolution has no goal. It only favors survival and reproduction in a specific environment. If their planet has high radiation levels, they might have protective pigmentation or subsurface lifestyles. If it's tidally locked, one side always facing its star, life might cluster in the narrow twilight zone between extreme heat and extreme cold. The diversity could be enormous, but the rules would remain consistent: physics, chemistry, natural selection. So when people ask, what would aliens look like? The most honest answer is this. They would look like solutions. Solutions to gravity. Solutions to temperature. Solutions to energy. Solutions to chemistry. And if we ever detect life through atmospheric biosignatures or directly image an exoplanet's surface in the future, don't expect cinematic drama. Expect subtle data, spectral lines, chemical imbalances, microscopic fossils. The first alien we discover will probably not roar. It will be a microbe. And that discovery will be more profound than any science fiction invasion, because it would mean life is not unique to Earth. It would mean biology is a cosmic phenomenon. And if life emerges wherever conditions allow, then somewhere, perhaps millions of light years away, evolution may have had enough time to produce complexity beyond our imagination. But until we have evidence, we must stay disciplined. No assumptions, no fantasy. Only data. The universe is vast, about 100 billion stars in our galaxy alone. If even a small fraction host habitable planets, and even a smaller fraction develop life, then statistically, we are unlikely to be alone. Yet we have no confirmed detection of extraterrestrial life so far. That tension is what makes this question so powerful. Aliens, if they exist, would not look random. They would look inevitable. If this changed the way you think about life in the universe, follow for more science that challenges assumptions and replaces fiction with evidence. So here's the question that scientists are actively trying to answer. When we finally detect alien life, do you think it will be microscopic and simple, or complex enough to completely redefine what we thought was possible?